It is May 20th. We have one more Wednesday left in May, and then it is over as quickly as it started. So thanks for joining us today in the bid room meeting. Collaborations, new currency. That's why we started doing this meeting. Brandon Dawson, he is a business building expert, and everything that we have started here has been inspired by Brandon, and his belief in working together builds a stronger and more robust business community. That is why we are here. Our mission, 100 contractors to 10 million in annual revenue by 2035. Those guys, pretty amazing. Let's see, so far this year, we are at about almost 34 million. Should have bumped that number up yesterday. And we're at 3 out of the 31 awarded to date, and we are working on the next ones. All right, so today what I wanted to talk about is understanding basis of award. This is a project that we bid back in 2024, and we lost this job by $32. Yeah. And so it's really important to understand basis of award. So this particular contract, there was a base contract and an alternate, and the contract was going to be awarded based only on the base contract. So if we go to the next slide, you can see that we were on the left at 205,302, and Monterey Peninsula Engineering was on the right at 205,280. So I was off. It's $22. $22 we missed this one by. And you can see at the bottom, when you add in the alternate, we were substantially lower, but the alternate didn't count in this case, so we did not get it. And painful. We sat here. Go to the next slide, please. Aaron and I sat in here doing a final bid review and literally plugged in, oh, you know what? We don't have any visqueen in our erosion control. We better throw a roll of visqueen in there. So that $345 last minute decision cost us the job. So now, of course, you don't know that when we did it, but it just shows how if we were going to add money to this job, we could have added it to the alternate. And knowing that the alternate was more than likely going to go with the whole job, we would have saved ourselves not getting it. So it's important when you're putting a bid together on your public works jobs, always understand how they're going to award the job, because we obviously we would not have known at the time that we bid this that, oh, that $300 is going to put us over. But there are opportunities to be strategic about how you build your estimate so that you do maximize the chance of getting the work. Now, one could argue, oh, well, if we put the money in for the visqueen and we put it into the alternate, then they didn't do it, we'd be out $300. Wouldn't be the end of the world. But we could have been $3,000 off at this point, or $30,000 off at this point. You don't know when you're doing it, but always give yourself a fighting chance. That is our go back lesson of how we almost had a job. Sometimes you got to look at the losses and learn from them.
In the final product, like when the project should be done, would the visqueen made a difference?
So it's there because we are going to be working in wintertime. We've got to cover piles. So it was something that's kind of standard in our setup. We would normally have that in there. But as we were reviewing it, we saw that we were missing it, so we put it in.
Sometimes when you sit there and play with numbers and you're just like plugging a bunch of stuff in, you can get way too into the weeds on it, and like you can start packing stuff in that you may not need. There's like an art to it, and we think I mentioned the Visclean and threw it in, and it was like,
Yeah,
turned out, so the Visclean is going to fly away unless you use sandbags and rope to tie it down. So you're short $300.
Yeah, we should have been short some more. But you know, the other thing too is you do have to recognize when you are overthinking things. You know, on this $300,000 job, $300 wasn't going to make or break the job, but it did cost us the job. So, but again, you don't know that when you're bidding it. We could have easily been just way lower or way higher. So, but the amount of time you could spend kicking yourself over stuff like this is infinite. So, don't kick yourself over shit like this. Just get better on the next one. Next time we put in 2 rolls of this thing. All right, tales from the front, Mr. Hosmer.
All right, let me share my screen real quick. So I've talked about in the past, excuse me, taking lots of pictures. So let me pop this guy up. All right, so this is Project Site. It's a Trimble product. This is what we're using for our project management. And we do all our daily reports, RFIs, submittals, change orders, subcontracts, and all that out of Project Site. It's been a big help to have everything in one area. And so every time I'm on site or we have someone on site, it should be every day. I always encourage people to just walk the job and take photos of everything, even if it's not your work. I do the same route, and I do a loop through everything. I take pictures of the outside of the job on roadway approaches just to get the state of the road coming in, because you never know what's going to come down the pipeline months later, weeks, months, years later. You may get blamed for something that you didn't do, and having progress photos throughout the life of the job is super important. So this is a job up in Davis where we're looking at base rock, compacted base rock. There's some concrete forms over here. So we are at this point right now. We got an email about the base rock grade being off by 3 inches, and I have photos of the finished base rock. And then I happen to have photos of this little area right here where the utility guy came in and started digging up storm drain. So as you can see, someone came in, they crushed some risers, it looks like, and they came in and started doing some work. This was all, I have a compaction test on March 26th. This report is on April 1st. So after we passed compaction, everything was signed off. Someone came in and dug some holes. So the prime contractor is telling me no one came in and did any work in there after we were done. And they're saying they had to pay the landscaper to fix the subgrade. So, you know, I just wanted to revisit site photos and how important they are. To tell a narrative. When I tell guys take a picture of everything, I'll even draw it on Bluebeam. I'll go and I'll say, okay, you know, go through the site and this is your route, you know, and I'll tell them you walk the whole job, take pictures of everything. And this is how you develop the story to defend yourself when people are saying you did something that you didn't do. So I just wanted to revisit site photos, super important. Having them accessible and cataloged by date. Like obviously we have timestamps now, so that helps a lot. Project Site has made this a whole lot easier. Before I was cataloging them in OneDrive, and that was fine, but just a little bit more manual and tedious, not the end of the world. So site photos, super important. you got to be able to tell the story and show them, because seeing is believing.
Pictures are worth $1,000. Nothing's ever cheap on a construction site. So thanks, Aaron.
Yep.
All right. So today we have in office Tommy Evans, senior estimator at Hensel Phelps. Tommy and I worked together at Granite Construction in the way back early 2000s. And he's here today to give us some perspective from a large general contractor on what they're looking for in subs as they're buying out projects.
Cool. Thank you for having me.
So what are you looking for, Tommy, in subcontractors when you guys are buying out these large jobs?
So first of all, I think it's just good communication. If I'm looking for numbers from 3 firms, that way I can show the client that we've got some good numbers in, and I reach out to 4 firms hoping to get 3. I need some quick communication back that you are going to engage with me with this project, or I'm reaching out to a 5th and a 6th just to get those 3. So that's pretty, you don't have to commit right away that you're going to provide a solid number, but just, hey, we're going to dig into it. We're going to download those plans off Building Connected. We're going to at least make a pass at it. And then you can come back pretty quick and say, oh, it's out of my jurisdiction. It's out of my geographic area that I'm working in, or this is a little bit stretching my capabilities. Whatever that happens to be, ask me questions. When's your start date? I need to see if it works in, and then I'll get back to you. And then either commit or drop pretty quick so I can add somebody else if I need to. That's probably really important. And then after that, ask the questions. Is this a budget you're looking for? Something I can just get on real quick? Are you providing quantities, or am I doing a takeoff? Is this actually going to be awarded? And is this your project, or are you bidding the project? So that's I like getting questions from folks. A lot of times, if you read our Building Connected invitation, you'll have a lot of these questions answered. But it's good. It's good information. Good stuff.
So when you're looking at a proposal, what are some red flags when you got your 3 bids, you're doing the bid analysis, and you're looking at line items, exclusions, qualifications? What stands out to you? What's good? What's bad?
Let's just say if you're a fencing contractor and you have 3 pages of exclusions, your standard exclusions. Oh, this one time on this one project, this happened, and it's listed on the sheet. And every time we have one of those one-offs, it's added to the sheet. That's not helpful.
Yeah.
Like you don't have that included, I'm gonna add money. It just makes it kind of cumbersome. Not that I want a half a page, pricing sheet, and I don't even know if you look at the project.
Yeah.
A lot of times, if we say, hey, our pricing, we want you to do a quality, go get good material pricing 5 or 6 weeks. That doesn't mean I don't want you talking to me until the day before the bid. A couple weeks at a time, send me a scope letter. No dollars. We're not talking dollars. Just, hey, here's the scope that I think that you are asking me to provide. And here's my standard exclusions. If you want anything worked on, let's work on. And we can review that. And if you're the first one out of the gate, now those standard inclusions, exclusions, and scope that we've worked out one-on-one, now I'm going to hold the other bidders to that same standard because you were the first one out the gate. And now I've set up my estimate to speak to your pricing. And so that works really good. And then we can take that information and, make sure everyone's apples to apples. And, we do a lot of work on the front side. We'll spend months making sure everything's dialed in before we put packages out to bid. And when they come in, we don't have time to go back and ask you to do something a second or third time. But ask us, ask the questions. If it's budget, I'm not looking for a one lump sum, $264,000. I'm looking for, 10 different types of fence or whatever it is. And here's the prices. And the design's a moving target. We might get updates from our engineering team and our architects and engineers every week or every 2 weeks. And I'm not going to go and ask you to update your quantities. I have your unit prices and I'm going to multiply them out how I see fit. full-time budgets or so one of the issues is there's just so many ways that projects are being put out to bid. We might have a client that says, hey, we purchased this property. It's being leased by tenants. We want to tear it down and do something with it. But we need assurances that once we tear it down, we can get something built within 2 years and get tenants back in it. And so they're looking for some budgets from us and to validate that we can get it within range. And then at some point, builder just come out and tear down the building, and then all of a sudden they come back and our price is 15% higher. They're not going to be returning our phone calls anymore. They're going to go talk with somebody else. So there's lots of different types of procurements, different ways that we ask for subs to provide numbers, and it's
what is on your end? What percentage of your work is like traditional rip and read versus design build or other forms of procurement?
Yeah, it's pretty rare that we put out a project that come 2:00 on Tuesday.
Yeah,
that's really small. I don't think I've even done one of those in a couple of years. It's almost client knows what they want built. They give us a concept of what they want built, and our team will come up with, we think it's in the whatever $600 million range, and then it's what's your fee, what's your schedule, and what's your team that you're going to put on it, and then we're going to interview you, and we work with the client to develop what the project is going to be. They know how many square feet they want, or they know what type of equipment they want in the building, and they want it looking quasi-nice. They might not be able to afford what some architect put together for them, but we'll help them get there. And if that would be like a cost plus, or at some point, once the design's done, we give them a guaranteed maximum price. There's just so many different ways to get going on projects. But with those different procurement methods, they might be occupying the building 6 months, 2 years ahead of time because it's not completely designed. Some clients prefer, we're going to completely design the building and have you bid it, and that's fine, but then they don't realize that their architect is way over designed the building, and they don't need a 3-story lobby, and it's wasted space, and in the end, elevators in the wrong spot. This on and on. So we're fine with partial design, and then we would wrap up the design and bring in subs along the way. Sometimes you drive piles in areas that you don't need because the building was once this footprint. It's changed, and that happens. You're just kind of moving at light speed.
So most of Hensel Phelps' work is in the design build category.
Yeah.
So what currently are you working on bidding out right now?
So project we've had for a little while is the Monterey Airport. So that's under construction. We just wrapped up our final packages. We owed the client a guaranteed maximum price, the final price at one point. So we just wrapped that up. We're working on, there's always stuff going on at SFO that we're chasing. A lot of it, like I just mentioned, we're not diving into any of these. It's more conceptual. Who's the team going to be? What else we got going on? There's always hospitals that we're chasing. That's the same type of client. Nothing's really designed. They know how many square feet they want, how many beds they want, type of equipment they want in certain spaces, and we just propose kind of what our team is and chase it that way.
So a lot of moving targets in the world.
Yeah, a lot of moving targets. And then if people from our office have capacity, we loan ourselves out to other offices. So I have, I spend a little bit of time in Honolulu working on some wastewater treatment plant work. The goal would be to bring that expertise back here in case we're trying to be diversified.
Yeah.
We would like to have, a couple $1 billion of airport projects, and just that ties up our time and we don't need to do anything else. But in reality, we need to have good relationships with different clients. We got back into the university market a handful of years ago, so we're doing work. I saw your Davis project over here, so we're doing work in Davis. Cal Poly, we're doing work just for the different universities. And a while back, we need to go into that market because
It's the other places.
all of us would just love to hang out at the airport. No, there's just not enough of that. So we're, getting into diversifying a little bit. I like the, rip and read. I'm not afraid of the wastewater treatment plant. So a handful of people actually on the team I'm working with are working on a wastewater treatment plant in Denver. And we have some folks from that market that we're working with to help our knowledge of the wastewater. Or in this case, I think it's just water purification. It's not necessarily waste, but it's water purification or whatever clients. And we'll bring back that expertise and theory to the Bay Area that did some of those types of projects. If they fit into the market, if they fit timing.
Yeah.
If something else at SFO hits and we're buried there, then we won't. But if that stuff keeps pushing to the right. So, and that's another thing is some clients always have funds because everyone's flushing the toilet or using the shower or using water. And so those are some good clients to have.
Yeah.
When other clients aren't building or doing tenant improvements. They need to diversify.
It's pretty cool. So on average, like out of all of the work that you chase, what's your percentage of work that you guys actually end up with?
Oh, so I saw your little percentage you had up on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. It might only be in that 10-15% frame, but a lot of those we have our proposal group working on a proposal, and there really isn't any estimated time.
Yeah,
it's the proposal to get us into the pre-qualify to be one of the 3 or 4 bidders, and maybe the client wants to take it down to a pool of 8 until we have a really solid discussion with 3, and so we hope to be in one of those 3. But a lot of those pursuits, very little estimating time, or just one person doing the conceptual, building estimate. But hardcore estimates that we put a lot of time and effort into it, the rate better than that, but not a whole lot better than that.
Yeah, it's kind of an industry standard, right?
Yeah, and you can't say, "Oh, I'm hitting it 60%." No, come on now. No. You're going to bid 6 jobs and you're going to be super low on a bunch and you're going to get your belly full early, and when the sexy work comes out, you're not going to. I'm not saying that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming in. This was cool to see you here in our office, and appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, Sandy, what do we got next? Neighborhood Hands. Aaron, why don't you tell us about the event?
Oh, the luncheon?
Yeah.
So we had a fundraising luncheon on May 14th, I believe, at Via Ragusa. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Campbell. It was, it was cool to see everyone in one place in a nice setting. A lot of prospective donors came through. The CEO, the founder, all the board members were present. Sean and I were there with some of our matadors. These guys in the picture with me are they're sort of a level above the stipend volunteers. So there's about 16 of them every Saturday that we work that are out there, and they help us set up the canopies and the resource fair. They walk out to the field and they sort of lead the work of the standard stipend volunteers, and then they come back and help us break everything down. So they get paid a little bit of a bigger stipend, and we had them in there greeting everyone at the event. I don't know how much money we raised, but I saw a lot of people putting pledges into envelopes. So something tells me we did okay, which is exciting.
Yeah.
We're trying to up our capacity because we are consistently turning people away every event. We have a certain budget to pay people, and we have to send 10 to 30 people away every event.
Yeah, it's been growing. So I think last weekend it was 35.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But you're not sending away volunteers, you're sending away the unhoused.
Stipend people, yeah. So we're trying to up it by, I think, 50 people a quarter. Is that what big
Yeah.
goal is. So we have a scaled growth plan, and this was part of getting us there. So it was a good event. I think there will be more.
Yeah, no, it was fun to do, and I was actually pretty impressed with the turnout as far in terms of how many people showed up.
Yeah.
They were shooting for 100, and I think they ended up with 120 people. So pretty good.
Lots of
Pretty good
equestrians in that room.
Equestronauts.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we have neighborhood games.
Next weekend, so not this weekend, but next weekend, 30th, 7:30 a.m. at the Guadalupe Gardens. If you get there anytime before 9, there will be a place for you to help out. And they do have a sign up on their website, but if you show up, you will be greatly appreciated, and there will be something for you to do. All right, book club, dichotomy of leadership. I think we're a little over halfway, right? It's chapter 10 this week. So, been a really great book. If you guys want to get involved in our book club, we do it at 8:45 every Wednesday. So Wednesdays every week. Send Sandy at southbaygrading.com and email, and she'll get you on the list. All right, guys, thank you for coming. As you know, the only way that you fail is to quit. So don't quit. You just got to keep pushing. With that, we've got a couple new faces on the call today. Bryce and I met on LinkedIn. Why don't you give a quick introduction, Bryce, on what you do?
Yeah, thank you, Sean. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the invite. This is phenomenal. I know we talked about it the other day, but this is, I wish I had this when I was first starting, estimating and doing everything. But a little background on myself. I'm about 18 years in the industry overall. I've recently left as the general manager of a paving outfit. We focused on, we're about a 15 to $25 million paving outfit at our peak. We had about 100 employees working all in the state of Washington. And I recently left this year after about a year and a half of doing double duty coaching consulting on the side, where, Sean's goal is to help people get to 10 million or more. My goal is to help them be sustainable. So I focus on actually eliminating owner dependency in companies between 1 and 20 million. So I work with the owner and the leadership teams to kind of, one, cast and build the model that allows the team to take ownership. And then I work with the leadership team on the back end to actually have them meet in the middle. And together we develop something that is pretty special. So I had done a little background there on where that comes from. I had actually spent my first year as general manager of a company where I completely failed. I led our team to our largest financial loss in company history. And as a result, I was forced to let go of 66 people. I refocused on what it meant to lead and develop and build our team, where I developed a program called the Middleman Mindset. The following year, I aimed to fix it all using that philosophy I had created, only to learn that I had taken all the fear and turned that into micromanagement and tried to control it all. And so while it worked financially, and we were very successful the second year, it nearly broke me, and we lost some of the best team members that we had because I robbed them of their fulfillment, their autonomy, and the chance to take ownership of their position. It is my belief that there is no it's my belief that we can't rely on one person to do it all. It doesn't work in this industry, and yet it happens time and time again, especially with companies in the $1 to $10 million mark who are trying to get out of that owner operator position. And that is where I get the privilege of focusing my time now. So, Sean, I appreciate you having me in here, and I'd love to help discuss and share any insights with anybody in this room if they ever feel like it.
Right on, Bryce. Drop your contact info in the chat,
Yep.
so people know how to get a hold of you. And I appreciate you jumping on today. And hopefully, we'll see you in the next coming weeks. CJ, thanks for being here today. Give us an update on Hammerloop.
Thanks, Sean and team. We are closing in on 1,400 profiles created on the Hammerloop platform now. When we first started in these meetings, we only had a few hundred, so we are growing. I just did a quick filter by I selected road construction, asphalt, and paving and grading trades. There's 37 workers primarily in the Bay Area that have created profiles that are there for the taking and looking for job opportunities. So happy to say that we're closing in on that 1,400 mark. We will be at the Meet the Generals event for ABC NorCal tonight, demoing the platform to contractors. I think I'll leave it there. Thanks for letting me share, Sean and
Awesome.
team.
Thanks for being here. All right. Anybody else want to jump in before we call it a day?
I do. I just want to remind you all, labor market staffing is still here. Piggybacking off of what CJ said, we actually had a flagger certification class in our location last week. So we have new flaggers out there. So if anybody is looking for flaggers, please let me know. Or any other positions that you need help with, I'm happy to help out. So
Awesome.
labor market staffing. Thanks.
Thanks, Marie. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody showing up and participating today. And we will see you all again in 2 weeks.